Good day, everybody. I'm Faize, and welcome back to Stellaris. As I promised, I am bringing this back up, and we are in Ironman mode, of which I have not done yet, so this is going to be interesting. I don't know what it all entails, too, but it should be interesting. So, like I said, not going to of course, you guys are going to just see snippets of everything from here and there because there is a rather really lengthy bit to this game. And you're like, it gets pretty serious. Like, I don't know if any of you have gotten to that point yet, but I haven't. That point being the end of the game. However, not really sure if there is an end of the game. But if there is, we shall get to it, hopefully, in this new series of Stellaris. And as I said, there's only one AI in this. I don't know where they are. Hopefully they're not right on top of us. But one AI. It's not any advanced AI or anything. No added things or anything. So this should be just a clean, straightforward run, hopefully. And I do have it set to the fastest speed just to get things moving along because there is a lot to get through. I mean, there's just a unquantifiable amount to get through. But we're going to get through it as fast as we possibly can because I don't really want to draw this out any further than it needs to go. Because at the rate that I was originally going for the other series of the other map that I was doing, it was going to go on to, I don't know, episode 500 or something like that. It would have been a lot of episodes. So, to spare everyone, I'm going to try and do what I can to reduce the number of episodes that this is going to require. Oh, I thought I selected that. Okay, got our first tradition picking. I'm going to pick prosperity, of which I always pick. I've gone through several maps now because I've had to try to find the right balance of things. And I've got a map that I've been playing on my own time, which I think I have the right balance of things now, of which I've chosen for this here. But then again, this is Iron mode, which I'm not sure what that really means and what that does. There's no tooltip things or that I've seen that give information about what all Iron mode is. All I can guess is that it's really, really difficult. That the difficulty is set to a very high level aside from what you set it in the options there. I'm not really sure. But I do know that Ironman mode is the only way that you can get the achievements for this game. So that'll be fun to get the achievements. I haven't gotten any achievements yet because I haven't done Ironman mode yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing them pop up and everything. And what I'm thinking right now is so far the planets are like within my border of the continental worlds. There are not any that are really sizable that would be worthwhile. to try and colonize because they're such a small size. However, there is a ocean world right there of 21, size 21, that I'm researching terraforming right now so that I can colonize that later when I have the resources necessary to terraform that. And then there's a size 25 world, savanna world there, and a size 20 tropical world, and a size 22 tomb world. So that system's going to be very good. And I think this came in the Utopia update, where it's no longer core planets, it's core systems. So essentially what that means is that instead of having a limited number of planets you can colonize, now you have a limited number of systems of which you can colonize, which means that however many planets are in that system that are colonizable, as long as you have one colonized, that only counts as one system. And then you can colonize as many of the other planets as you want to within that system, and they won't count towards the core system things, which I think is rather a nice improvement. I actually really like that a lot, because then you can just sprawl all over the place and have really big borders. It's nice to have big borders. I don't know if it really does much, but it means you can have more plants, which generates a whole lot more research and resources, whatever. But mainly for the research, so you can get things done faster, which is really good. And then they added the megastructures, which is really nice. Which with one of the megastructures is a habitat. Which is the space habitat or whatever. And so, going along with the core systems, as long as many planets, they don't have to be colonizable planets or whatever, just bodies in space, sizable bodies in space, you can build a habitat there, and it won't count. It would be the same thing as colonizing a planet in an already counted system. So you can have just billion. I mean, if you have 17, say your max, which this is what I've seen so far. I don't know if it goes higher than this, but max of 17 core systems. Within those 17 core systems, you may have 3 or 4 planetary bodies outside of those being colonizable, that you can build those habitat structures on, of which are a size of 12. And so that's like 45 other size 12 planets. Right, yeah, 45. That you can have with research buildings of 5 of each. I think it's 5 of each. So it really adds up, and that's a huge thing. Which I think it's really awesome. The Utopia, in terms of the Utopia expansion, there's some ups and downs to it. I think there might be a little bit more of a downside than an upside to the Utopia update. Like the traditions, the traditions are nice. However, it kind of it's a little confusing at first, because there are some technologies that you had to research before that are no longer researchable technologies, and they're technologies that you get by getting the respected tradition that they are accounted with. So there's that, which that's kind of nice, but also it's kind of like, well, what? But and they added this right here where you stockpile food. That's a upside, I think, to the update, where each planet is not dependent on its own food production. You can have, say, one world that mass produces food for all the other planets. Now, with that said, the people on those planets that have negative food are going to be unhappy, but they're still going to be getting food, if that makes sense. So there's some ups and downs to it. The AI, I think, are a little bit more broken. They got a little more. I use the word cheating loosely. I'm not quite sure. Just with my dealings of the AI after the expansion is not all that great. And I mean, like, the AI were pretty bad from the start, to begin with, whatever, before the expansion. And I think the AI just got worse after. Not that they were bad, like, they were, too easy, or the game just didn't work right. Where it was more so like more so like the cheating AI difficulty in Supreme Commander 2. In Supreme Commander 2, one of the AI difficulty settings that you could set it to was cheating, and so that gave them a whole heck of a lot of energy production and mass production, just base energy and mass production, and a whole bunch of other benefits, which made it almost impossible to compete with them, especially if you had several of them all on one team, whatever. It was almost it actually really was kind of impossible to do. So, in terms, what the Utopia update has done is taken that and given that to the AI here just on base, which the difficulty level is set to normal. And even though they're given this so loosely said cheating difficulty, they the way that they use it is really bad. Like, they somehow, like, I know for, like, from other people I've been playing this, that if you are in a federation, your AI allies are not always going to come to your, or not really going to come to your assistance if you're attacking someone. And defensive contracts or whatever, or pacts with other people, are pretty much useless because they don't do anything. You know, they will drag you into a war, or you'll get dragged into a war, and they won't come to help you. And the way that the AI runs their empires is almost broken. Like, they'll have, because they don't follow, the AI doesn't follow the logic of staying within the limits of core systems and Navy capacity. They go just way beyond and break that, and then they, which is part of what you can call the cheating element, is that they just don't follow that. And so they have massive fleets, and there's a bunch of crazy, kind of ridiculous stuff that is kind of game breaking. And speaking of game breaking things, there are some things that I don't like, or there are things I don't like about the Crisis elements, where the Pytharian whatever Scourge comes, or the Undeeded. I haven't dealt with the AI Uprising, but I've heard it's just as much game breaking as the Undeeded or the Pytharian Scourge. Which the Pytharian it was. I had one game that I was playing where the Pytharian Scourge just came out of the blue, and it ate like all the galaxy, and I was the last one it ate, and it was pretty ridiculous. I mean, like, I believe that it should be fine to have some type of, like, random element like that in the game. However, it's a little too game breaking. Because, like, once it happens, you can't beat it. And I mean, at least post Utopia expansion. Or I don't know. It's beatable probably, but the probability of beating it is so low that it's kind of like useless to try and continue to try and beat it. And if, like, the Pytharian Scourge comes wherever, it's almost better to just start a new one than to try and clean up the mess that it creates, which the Undeeded and Pytharian Scourge, they just create a big mess. And it just really breaks the game. Really breaks the game. It's not, I mean, like, it's fun. The game in general really is fun. I mean, to me at least, because I really like space. I really like space games, and this game reminds me, in a way, a lot of Sins of the Solar Empire. Now, I will say that Sins of the Solar Empire, in terms of just terms of space-themed games, is better than this game. I'll go ahead and say that now. However, in terms of, what games there are in the space genre, this one doesn't do all that bad of a job. Now, it does have a lot of bad elements to it that are game-breaking, however, but in general, if you just take out those elements, which you actually can, there's an option to turn off crisis events or whatever, taking those out, the game, and leaving it to one or two other AIs, not having the Fallen Empire in there, or not having a Fallen Empire in there, or having any of the advanced AI starts, it's a pretty fun game. Now, if you have it going at fast speed like I do right now, it can get pretty chaotic because you've got things popping at you all over the place because it's going super fast. But taken at the normal speed, which granted would take forever to try and get through this game, which is fine. I mean, there's several games like Civilization. It takes a while to finish a game, but it takes longer to finish a game of this, than it does a game of Civilization, because the amount of time that's gone by in my game that I've been playing on my own time would be the time it would take to play probably two games of Civ on quick or standard time. So, with all that, I mean, this is generally a pretty fun game, I'd have to say. For what it offers, and and a general basis of what it is, it's a pretty fun game. But then again, it does have those hiccups in it. But it has me hooked, especially with the new Utopia update. It has me hooked on trying to find out, is there an end to this game? And if there is, what the heck is it? Because, I mean, the technologies just keep going and going and going. And really, this is a really in-depth game. I mean, there's a lot of depth to this game. And it's almost astounding how much depth there is to this game. And I know people have... Oh, I love this anomaly right here, the probability conundrum. We have gotten a report from Science Officer Labille. It seems that a ceramic container is circling the star Agilis. Most peculiar, it should obviously not be there. Yet somehow it has managed to find its way into a close orbit. A special project can be issued to investigate the container and try to deduce how it ended up there. A conundrum worth investigating. What happens when the project is complete? I love it's I love that anomaly so much. But anyways, with the technologies, research and all, I know people complain or have complained that about how it's random, and it's very debatable on how bad or good it is, because I actually like the random element of the technologies being provided and not being able to just say beeline to the most powerful technology that you can possibly have, like you can do in games like Civilization or Endless Legend or Endless Space or games like that. So in terms of that, the random element of the technologies popping up is rather nice. However, the bad side to it is that when you're really needing a technology or wanting a technology that you know you can research at that particular moment, and it doesn't pop up for several rotations, that is the most annoying thing about it. Because I know there's planets that I'm wanting to in my game that I've got going in my own time, which I've had to start over several times. I'm close to the beginning of the game right now in that playthrough. But one of the technologies I need, atmospheric restoration for transforming specific planets, or really all of them except for ocean and tropical planets. I know I can research that. I know I have what I need to research that. But it is not popping up in the random rotation of the technologies, which has become rather annoying. So it's nice and it's a pain. There's and like I said, there's ups and downs with this game. And then there might be more downs to the game than there are ups. But like I said, just at face value of this being a space game, which really, there are not all, I mean, there's a good amount out there, but compared to other genres of games, there are not a lot of true space games out there. Especially games that are not like turn-based, like Galactic Civilizations, which is a pretty good space game in itself. It has some iffy things about it, but that's besides the point. Anyway, at face value of being a space game, this is not half bad. Could be better. It could have done better. There's a lot of things it could have done better. But at face value, it's not half bad. So then you might be saying, would I recommend this? Recommend playing this? Would I recommend this a game to get and play? If you have the time and patience, then yes. Which is really the answer for any game. But if you have the time and patience, and you enjoy RTS games that are space themed, like Sins of a Solar Empire, then I would say buy at your own discretion. Because of what I said, the game can be problematic. So that's my spiel over the game itself. And I'm sure other people have, I know other people have spoken their mind about the game, of what they think. Others are probably more of a downside opinion towards the game than my own. But when it comes to games, I try to be give somewhat of a leniency towards them. At least warrant the chance of proving themselves better than what they seem to be. Which, when it comes to games, there's a lot of games that you look at them, it's like, oh, that's a stupid game, That game seems like something I would never play or never would want to play. And it seems just not interesting to me, or something I'd want to play. There are a lot of games that have that book cover to say to them. However, when you go to play them, it's like, oh, this is completely different than what it was advertising on its cover. Which, there's not many games that you get that have a cover to them and you buy the disc for, due to the digitalization of buying games. You don't see many computer games and of such, like the brand new games out in stores like Walmart. It's all done through Steam and GOG and all the online community hubs or whatever. But sometimes it's just due to not well thought out or good advertising. Or they might have good advertising for the game, and it's like, this is how gameplay is. However, what you get out of the game is something completely different than what you may first see by just watching a video or a trailer or whatever of the game. Which it's not for all games. There are those that are just flat out bad and should never be approached. However, there are those that seem like the games that you should never approach. But if you give them the chance, they can prove something. And then it can go the other way around. You can have a game where it seems like, oh, that's a game I must get, I must play, must check out. You know, it seems like the best game in the world. And then you get it, and you play for an hour, or 2, 4 hours, you know. And then you're like, well, this game's just rubbish. You know, there's plenty of those games out there, too. I can name a good few, but I'll refrain from that. I may say talk about that in a gaming vlog or something like that, but the gaming industry puts out some interesting things. And, you know, what's funny is that the ones that you're like, oh, I must get this, and then you're disappointed after 4 hours, a lot of the times, or most of the time, they're from, you know, top grade companies. You're expecting it to be one thing, and then it leaves out a lot of stuff, and you're wondering, well, what happened? What were you doing for, you know, all these years that you were working on it? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching right now know a game in specific that I'm talking about. I was in development for several years and put off several times, and then it finally came out, and then you're like, what the heck is this? There's actually a couple, just right off the top of my head, there's a couple of games I can name. One of them being actually a space game itself. And I bet everyone's about to say it with me. The name of that game is Endless Sky. It is Endless Sky. Now, everyone went in an uproar after that game, or as that game was coming out. Everyone thought, finally, because that's one of the games I'm talking about, and when they got it, they were greatly disappointed. Now, I myself have not played that much of it, and I didn't actually keep up with that game for very long. I actually didn't really hear about that game until it was said it was coming out. Like, for right before it actually came out. So I wasn't really on the bandwagon of, you know, this is what this game's going to have and everything. I kind of read a little bit about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. An open world space game that is endless, per se. So I was like, okay, cool. Got the game, got in it. I thought it was a great game for the time that I, you know, spent playing it. But everyone else hated it. Because they were wondering where the heck certain things that were said were going to be in the game were in the game. Which I'm still not sure what those things are. But, and that's one of the games that it's like you're really hyped up for, and then you get let down. Although I didn't get let down, but the majority of gamers got let down. So do I have? I probably have enough energy credits to terraform this. Haha! There we go. So now I'll have a second planet to my name. But anyways, and then another game where it might not so be like a letdown, but it's kind of like huh? So off ball that's like hits the player like a train. And that is Final Fantasy 15. Now, this is one game that I was really excited for and waiting for a while. And when I got the game and I got into it, what I saw was very different from what I expected. Now, here's where there's a middle ground between expecting something great and flat out hating it, and expecting something bad and really liking it. Yeah, what I ran into with that game is something that I did not expect at all. It was, say, culture at its best in that game. To put it in words, it's very much kind of like a slice of life Final Fantasy game, which is very different from what I expected. You know, we're used to the Final Fantasy games being the turn-based, games with the single line of, characters that hammer on a monster or two or some creature or creation of some sorts. This is very different. Now, I will say, the graphical quality and everything of that game is astounding. It is really good. And I like it a lot. But in terms of just the gameplay of the game, it's very weird. I've not played all that much into the story of the game, but it's different from other Final Fantasy games. Which they said they were gonna do. They said it was gonna be unlike any other Final Fantasy game. And they delivered that. It is unlike any other Final Fantasy game out there. Which they took a pretty bold step on that. Because there's or really a lot of the people that play Final Fantasy games that are true to the turn-based style of the game. But it's interesting having an open world and it not being turn-based. There's still the AP gauge and everything, but it's different. Alright, we terraformed the ocean world. So now we can colonize it. Which is awesome. And I didn't see this before, but it has a Betharian stone, which is going to be nice. So let's colonize this thing, because it's about time we get a second planet. I'm going to put go away. I'm going to put that there. Because it has the Patharian stone there, and it's going to help that out greatly. Oh yeah, this right here is one of the things that I hate the most about the Utopia update, or not the update, but the expansion. The little capital things, they don't produce food anymore. They don't increase the food on the planet anymore. No. It is now producing energy and unity. Which unity is the resource used for getting new traditions. Nah. There's the improbable ceramics. Did I not suck that guy? Anyway, that is the most annoying thing of the expansion. So now, when you go to colonize a planet, is instantly starving. And that does not bode well for planets that do not have a lot of food tiles on there. Which, thankfully, this one does have a few. It has a few food tiles on there and a few open spaces. But really, those open spaces are going to be used for the Unity generation thing and the the power thing that increases the power output by 10%, and the counterpart of that for minerals, which, you know, those empty spaces are going to be used for that because those are most important to put on there to increase that production, and important to have one space for the Unity things to get more Unity production. So really, there's no space or room for building more food production areas. Now, I mean, here's where the food stockpilage comes into play. However, like I said before, even though there's food stockpile, even though that there's that, and the planet, if it is starving or is under par of food production, will go off of that, the people on the planet will be unhappy. In order for the people to be happy and produce at top quantity of the resource that they're on, the plant has to not have negative food. Which is annoying. Okay, here's... okay. Well, there's two possibilities with this special project. So this is the rare forms of it. After almost giving up hope studying the accursed ceramic object for so long, we have reached a breakthrough. The object isn't really there, but rather it is a projection from a higher dimension. Analyzing it as a shadow of a fourth-dimensional object, we have accumulated enough data to decrypt its message. The object teaches us how to improve in all fields of research. The only question now is, who sent this information? Now, the other one that comes out of this is the one where, like, they say, we studied this darn thing for so long and we have given up. You know, if I find a picture of it, I'll put it at the end or something for you guys to read, because it's of the special projects and everything in there in this game, which there's a lot. Like I said, this game has a lot of depth to it. This is my favorite one. Well, not this in particular, but the just the special project surrounded around the ceramic object is funny, and I like it a lot. But anyways, and I forgot too, the other thing that I hate the most about the Utopia expansion is that these capital places no longer produce influence. There's only one. There's a research. One of the research to get the capital stuff gives you a base of +1 influence, and that's it. Your influence generation is completely dependent on the factions, which factions actually have use now, and they're not just a pest, which they used to be before. Now they actually provide some benefits and are actually integrated into the play of the game. But they're still kind of a pest. But they're a more helpful pest. But yeah, your influence generation is solely dependent on the factions and making them happy, so that, hey, there's atmospheric manipulation. Making them happy. And the happier they are, the more influence they give you. Which I find that change is very annoying. So those are two things that I just absolutely hate about the Utopia expansion. Now, don't even get me started about the multiplayer, because I can go on and on about that. I mean, like, before the Utopia update, multiplayer was broken. After the Utopia update, it's even more broken. The AI for multiplayer. Oh boy. Yeah, well, not even just the AI, but joining multiplayer games or whatever and being in a multiplayer game. There's so much desync that happens. And it's like, when you desync from the host, there's no coming back from it. You are eternally screwed. Just really. I mean, you're not going to sync back up. And even exiting out of the game and going back in and trying to reconnect to the game, that doesn't work. You're still, when you come back in, you're going to automatically come back in as desynced. And it just messes everything up. And that's not the only thing that messes everything up. While you're out of the game trying to fix your situation of getting back into the game and not being desynced, the AI has control over your empire. And the AI only needs a few seconds of control over your empire to ultimately doom it. I mean, like, literally, just 10 seconds of the AI being in control of your empire, you'll be stuck there if you ever get back into the game where you're not desyncing. you'll be stuck there for the next 20 or 30 minutes fixing the damage the AI did, which the AI does a ton of damage in those 10 seconds of time that they control your empire. And it's quantifiable as the time goes on. If you're away for 5 minutes, heck, you're going to be sitting there for probably an hour or two fixing what they did. Because the AI really messes things up. And then you get to the part where, okay, you didn't leave the game. You're still in control of your empire. However, you start using sectors. Once you start using sectors, the AI is in control. You're not in control. The AI is going about its thing, controlling the sectors. What it does to the sectors is the same thing it does when you leave the game. And the AI takes control of your empire. And now, after the Utopia expansion, or with the Utopia expansion, not only is the AI worse now, not only that, but now they made joining multiplayer games more complicated. A user ID of whatever sorts is that in order to connect to a multiplayer game, you must enter in a user ID, which the host has to dig through stuff to even find in the first place. I mean, it's not just like, here's your user. You don't create a user ID for the server that you're creating for that specific map. They provide it to you, and you have to dig through it to find it, and then you have to provide it to the people that are going to join your game, and then they have to put that in. If you have a password, then they have to put that in there, but a password's fine. You don't want everyone getting into your game, but with the user ID, that's just annoying. So, single player, face value, this game is decent. It's fine. It's good. There's fun to be had playing this game. Single player. Multiplayer, don't even start. Don't even go there. Don't even try. Don't even don't even step close to it. Keep, a 10-foot pole in between you and it. You don't want to go anywhere near it, because it will take 10 years off your life. So we have this second plan now, and it's been going for a little bit. And we've got people on there now. Almost. We're waiting on this one guy to be able to get that going for more buildings, or better buildings, rather. And yes, I can terraform this world. Okay, so we're going to terraform that world, and that's a tropical world. Do I have enough energy for that? I do. Okay. Come on, there we go. Terraforming all the worlds. And then I can't remember what technology I need for the tomb world, but... And you're probably wondering why I'm not doing all the research projects right now. Because once that's done researching, I'm going to set them on the automated exploration. And they're just going to go all over the place, and they're going to leave a wake of special projects or whatever to be done. When they're done, auto-exploring the whole entire galaxy, which this is the maximum size galaxy that you can have, then I'll go back and do all the special projects. That's my plan, at least, because right now, what I'm worried about is just finding all the worlds that I can colonize, so I can grow big. I'll do the special projects later. They do provide some bonuses here and there, however, but all in all, it's it's not important to right away do them as you get to them or as you find them. That's my opinion. Probably didn't make as much progress in this this time around as I probably should have, but I mean it is the very beginning. And what just got researched? That got researched, which is going to make my life so much better. I don't have to individually go to all the different planets and have them survey them, which is really nice. That's a feature. I think it's a feature that has only been available due to the Utopia expansion. I'm not sure if it was in the game before the Utopia expansion. But it is a very nice research to have, or a nice technology to have. It helps a lot. It is very nice to have. Because now I don't even have to worry about, the science ships. Sending them to where they need to go and survey and all that stuff. And I can just tell them to, if they find an anomaly, I can tell them to research the anomaly. They research it, and then they go on their way. Now, that's the only thing that they'll, do and to research and go on their way. The special projects, they won't, the little, special projects, they won't do those, unfortunately. Alright, so we can colonize this place, and then we'll colonize the other place, and then call it, we can choose a new tradition. And I'm going to choose harmony, just so I can get the longer lifespan. I find it that it's nice to have to go ahead and get the long lifespans, so if you run into a leader, specifically a science leader that has the light bulb talent thing. I can't remember what it's called, but the talent that's in the light bulb. If they have that, then you want to have them as long as you possibly can, because they give 10% plus 10% research speed to whatever they're researching, regardless of, whatever it is in here, which is really nice. So it's nice to already have a high lifespan for when you run into those leaders. Okay, so this world's terraformed. We can colonize it. We're gonna put it right here. Well, that should be good. And we just have to wait for that to be colonized. Go ahead and get that. This is going good. This is going good. In general, we are in a good spot, I'd have to say. Now, for the person that we're playing against, or going to be playing with, the AI, I'm going to guess is probably over here. Now, given the time that has passed, they probably, if, say, they're over here, they probably have all of that right now. That would be my guess. When they expand sporadically and very fast, and they just explode. And I literally mean they explode. It's crazy how big they get. When you have just, one or two other empires on the map, and not just a bajillion of different empires on the map, it's surprising how big they become. And how far they just expand. It's just like immense. It's ludicrous. And that's part of the so-called loosely used term of cheating element that they have been given, that I was talking about earlier. You know what would be cool, though, is that if in this playthrough, run into one of the singular ring worlds, which they do exist. Because the first time I played this game after the Utopia expansion, one of the systems here had a ring world on it that was not associated with a fallen empire or anything. It was just a standalone ring world that was just sitting there. And I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. But it'd be nice to have that because of the fact that I don't have a fallen empire in here. Now, I'm not sure if this is possible, but if one of those are in this map, there may or may not be a possibility of getting the liquid metal or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. I wonder if that's the other empire. Let's find out. That'd be like the last thing.
Special project complete. Situation log updated.
Ah. No. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave this video here. This should be, and hopefully will be, a good series. So far into the game, which, regrettably, we haven't made that much progress. It may seem like that a lot of progress has been made. Nope, nope, nope. Not anywhere close to a lot of progress has been made in the grand scheme of how far the game goes. Yeah, we've not made that much progress. But for the progress that we have made so far, I do not see any differences between normal game and Ironman mode. I do not see any differences. Now, I've yet to run into the other empire, so those differences might come to show when that happens. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out all my other videos I have done in the past. And again, thanks for watching. I will see you in another video. Bye!